Hey everyone. Well, guess what? In the news, I read that they introduced or they announced who the actress is who's playing Supergirl. And I don't know her name. I forget her name. She was on the new Game of Thrones House of the Dragon series, which I've watched only a little bit. And so I know who they're talking about. But hey, since Supergirl actress was announced for whatever DC's doing, let's look at a Supergirl storyline. I was going to do this one anyways from the Batman Superman run some years ago. Written by Jeff Loeb, penciled by Michael Turner. Jeff Loeb is a good writer. He writes. He doesn't draw. Michael Turner draws. He's done some really good stuff with Superman for all seasons, I think, and he's done some cool stuff with Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Gray. He did my favorite comic book storyline, which was Batman Long Halloween. Hi Rusty. We missed you on some of the other videos, but now you're back. So hello, buddy. Rusty had to make an appearance. So there he is. So I wanted to do some DC stuff. My brothers and I grew up Marvel fans, Marvel zombies, if you will, and weren't really into DC. I mean, we watched the Superman movies, we like those well enough. We watched Batman movies, we like those well enough, but the comics never really did anything for us. Later in life, I mean, I'll pick up anything if it's drawn by Michael Turner, for one. I don't care who it is. But I grew to appreciate more of DC as I grew up. I worked at a comic book shop, and I worked with this guy who was just full of knowledge of comic books. And instead of working, instead of him making me like mop the floor or something, I'd be like, hey man, why don't you tell me about Green Lantern? And he was a DC guy, so he would give me all sorts of information. And it was actually kind of interesting. So I kind of got into DC, especially working at that comic book store. And I got into them even more when I was watching the Justice League animated TV show, Justice League Unlimited. Some of the best cartoons ever. Some really good storylines with some really, especially in Justice League Unlimited, some obscure characters. So I've learned to appreciate DC as a whole more so as I grew older. But a Batman Superman comic written by Jeff Loeb, who's done some great stuff with Superman and Batman, and drawn by Michael Turner. And as far as I know, this is Michael Turner's first mainstream or project he did with the big two. He was a Top Cow guy. He made his name on Witchblade, and he then moved on to Fathom, and that was a big hit. And he became a superstar artist. And then he moved to DC, not moved over permanently, but started doing some stuff for DC, did some covers for, I think, Identity Crisis, did this comic, and then he did some stuff for Marvel. I know he did a bunch of covers for them, which I showed on the Fallen Sun, Death of Captain America video that I did. Move out of the way, Rusty. Come on, buddy. I love you. I don't know what else he did. He did Soulfire. I don't know if he actually did any actual interior work for Marvel before he died, which is very, very unfortunate. Dying at such a young age. I mean, it just sucks. We won't get into it. But let's look at these issues. Rusty, you're kind of in my light. So I got all the issues, 8, 9, 10 on the other side. Damn. Hey, Wonder Woman. So we'll be looking at all 6 of these issues. I might split this up into 2 videos. So if it suddenly ends halfway through, there'll be a second video following shortly. So here we go. New Girl in Town. Did we know that this was gonna be Supergirl? I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious. You could guess. But Michael Turner and his art, man, he's known for drawing sexy women. but he can draw some fucking badass dudes. You know, that Batman with the folds and the cape and everything, with the Gotham City and the Batboat back there is just really good. And I haven't looked through these in quite a little bit, but the storyline I think is basic enough that it's not too complicated where we'll be wondering what's going on. So, you get some monologues from both Superman and Batman here, and you can tell by like the color of the boxes, plus has a little symbol, obviously. But you got Superman talking about, like, you know, he has parents, wife, friends, but he's alone. Like, he's the only Kryptonian. I mean, Supergirl had existed before this. Obviously, she died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. I don't really know her history, but apparently, like, this is a reintroduction to a Supergirl. And at this point in the DC universe, he's like the only Kryptonian. Power Girl's around, and she is revealed to be an like alternate Earth version of Supergirl in Infinite Crisis. I'm going to get into that book at some point. Anyways, so cool city scene. You know, Michael Turner. I don't know if he must have referenced this. Maybe he did it out of his head. I don't know. I don't care. It looks good, right? So the story goes, you hear Batman and Superman, they're talking to each other. But Superman's like, Batman? He's like, no, Clark, you don't even know what I'm going to ask. And he's like, yes, I do. And the answer is still no. There must be something I can be doing. He's like, you already are doing it. So you got Superman talking up here, Batman down here. He's talking about Superman's unhappy. I can't blame him. If our roles were reversed and I were quarantined to the cave, I would be unhappy as well. So I think what's going on here, this is picking up from the last storyline of Superman Batman by Jeff Loeb and drawn by Ed McGuinness, where there was a giant kryptonite meteor coming to Earth, and I think Batman and, they made a rocket ship and they went and blowed it up, right? But all these chunks came crashing down, I think, to Earth. And they need to collect all the kryptonite, so like people can't use it against Superman, and Superman isn't going to be affected by it. I'm guessing. So you got this cool ass shot of Batman here underwater. And yeah, they're talking about the meteor shower. That, it's a reminder that he was not born on this Earth. Last son of Krypton. Batman's talking. He knows that this is about the kryptonite, the only substance that can kill him. He's experienced the effects of both red and green. Who knows what other specimens might bring about? So Batman's just playing it safe. Like, kryptonite came crashing to Earth. You stay there. I'll take care of it for you. So he's got this little, it's not a sub, it's like, I don't know what you call it. It propels him through the water. Batman's holding on to it. Batman's got some cool gear, like always. Going underwater. Could have just asked Aquaman, right? Whatever. Not so bright are you, Batman. But we're in Gotham, right? Yeah, that's obviously Gotham City. So they're chit-chatting to each other as Batman's looking for some kryptonite shit, and it looks like he finds some. And this is just like, we're gonna marvel at the art a lot. The colors are really good. We haven't gotten to the credits yet, so we'll make sure to credit the colors when we get to the credits. Oh, speaking of which, here are the credits. So Jeff Loeb, Michael Turner, artists. So did he do pencils and inks? Maybe, I guess. And Peter Steigerwald on colors. Richard Starkings as a letterer. Cool. And then editors and whatever. But then Batman, as he's underneath the water, he finds something. Looks like some kind of craft or whatever. And can we see what's in that right there? Does that look like a person? Maybe? Oh. No, because it's empty. But you hear Superman, and he's like, what's wrong? Did you find something? You found something, didn't you? So up at Batman's Batboat, you still hear the dialogue between Superman and Batman. And this head pops up out of the water. Again, Michael Turner doing water shit. He's really good at it. So a head pops up at the Batboat, and Batman's still checking out shit of whatever this craft was with, shines the light on it. The hand is reaching up, mirrors here, a hand that Batman is checking out some of the writing on this, which I don't know if we know this at this point, but that's Kryptonian writing. So this girl, climbs aboard, and Batman gets a warning. Puts her hand on the stick, and Batman's like taken off, but whoever's on it is like taken off on the Batboat. So up on this top panel, you see Batman. He's zooming like towards them as fast as he can. He sees the boat going up on the surface of the water. He shoots a little harpoon with a rope, catches on, and now he's being dragged by the Batboat through the water. And this bottom panel here, you can see it coming towards the docks, and it's about to crash through everything. And Batman and Superman are still chit-chatting to each other. So, the Batboat crashes, and you get this fucking awesome page shot of Batman emerging from the water. Again, with the colors from the fire and the water and everything. Just really, really good art. An Alias video game. That's interesting. Never played it. Didn't know it existed. So, where are we? We get somebody, this person, really good drawing through the, all the detail of the grungy alley, walking up to these guys. And of course, we got some scummy guys, and she's talking, and they don't understand the language. Is that Swedish? And I don't know what they're doing or saying, but she doesn't like it. I wonder if there's somewhere we could get what's actually translated here. But she quickly grabs onto him and just snaps his fingers right there. And this guy's like, hey, he was a jerk, but you shouldn't have hurt him. I mean, come on. Who cares? So then she shoves that guy, and again, talking, and this guy, he's kind of scared. He's like, I didn't do anything. She grabs whatever this is, like an ice sickle, like hook thing. I don't know what you call it. Something to handle like big chunks of ice, I think. You can see she's bending it or straightening it out, just showing her strength, making sure to hide her hoo-has and her bits. And he's like, here, take the coat. It's got to be worth money. He's like, just don't hurt me. But then Batman, he's right on the tail. Like, the girl had gone and left, but you see the cool silhouette of Batman. He's following the commotion, He's doing his detective work. He's like, tell me what you saw. So we go to the next page. She's running through the water. Cool silhouette. Now she's wearing the coat. Again with the language. Cool down, bird's eye view. Cool angle there. Pencils, inks, colors, everything is just top notch. She turns around, there's a bright light shining on her. And it's a car come crashing into her. She just runs out into the middle of the street there. And this car crashes, doesn't even faze her. Again, I don't remember if was I involved in the mystery of who is this person with these powers? It just seemed like, this is Supergirl, right? So this person gets out, yells at her. She notices the stoplight up here changes. Again, all this kind of shit is cool, this kind of stuff, and the Batman back here, that's kind of cool, but sometimes as an artist, you look at when other people just draw a simple thing like this stoplight. I don't know. It's nothing crazy, but I just think it looks good. The colors are really selling it too. But she looks at it, her eyes are glowing red, and shoots it. And she's kind of freaking out, doesn't know what's going on, and takes off running. And what happens here? Does she crash into the cop car? I mean, got these old timey cop cars. It's kind of that vibe of Gotham City, that whatever you would call it. But then her feet just like start levitating up. She starts hovering, and you can tell she doesn't know what the fuck's going on. There's a question mark, exclamation point. And so these guys just like, she tried to kill us. We've got to bring her down. So these guys blast away at her, and it's just bouncing off. So they're showing all the powers that Superman has. You know, speed, looks like here, flight, heat vision, strength, invulnerability. And she's just kind of freaking out. She's hovering. She can't really control it. And she grabs on, and she looks up, and there's this, badass shot of Batman with a cape flapping in the wind, and just some badass shit, right? And he notices everything. Extraordinary strength, heat vision, or something like it, and now flight. But she keeps going up. She just keeps levitating upwards. And Batman's like, this is a being of extreme power. And I don't know how fast she's flying, but she crashes into an overhead blimp, because there's blimps everywhere in Gotham. She crashes down through a building. And then the fucking blimp is coming down. And Batman says to Superman, but he's kind of giving Batman shit. It's like, I'm not on this comm link, so I can't possibly hear you. Because Batman was saying, like, stay off the comm link. Quit, just listen to me and do what I say and stay home. But now Batman's like, I need you. There's a job for you. But Superman, he's on it. Well, no matter, he was in Gotham because he was in the Batcave, but he just comes swooping down. You can see this shot of the city and the little blimp going down, and he gets underneath it, swoops under. This looks really good. All this fire and everything. And he catches on to it. And obviously, Superman's going to be able to take care of this problem, very easily. And he takes it out to sea and lets it. I hope there's nobody in the blimp. And here he is, Batman just kind of talking about Superman, about how he's a Boy Scout, blah, blah, blah. But, he's a hero. And he makes a little joke here. Anything else you want me to do before you send me back up to my room? And but Batman's kind of, again, in his own monologue, like, Superman's a hero, but I choose to do things differently. So the girls, she crashed through this whole, into this building, and she's just freaking out right here. Again, don't know what she's saying, but Batman's there suddenly. She's not gonna give him the slip. He's like, I don't know who you are, but you have to come with me. And he figured out easily, like we all did, she must be Kryptonian. If I knew what you were saying, it might make what I have to do less difficult, but you have to be stopped. And he has a chunk of kryptonite. Whether he brought that on his own or brought it up from the sea where he was trying to get the kryptonite, I don't know. What do we got here? Never played that. Played that. Prince of Persia was good. That was a kind of forgettable game. So she, she goes unconscious because of the kryptonite. She wakes up when we're in the Batcave. Just the perspective on this, the detail, the attention to like the little, like the architecture of the stairs and everything, the Batmobile up here, the cave stuff. It's just really awesome. Is it practical? I don't know, but it looks fucking badass. Like Michael Turner is just a fucking good artist. Like all this shit here, that's a lot of detail that's hard to do. I don't know, it just pisses me off. Anyway, she wakes up. She's getting scanned here. You can see the scan going over her eyes. And ain't none of this shit going to keep her down. She wakes up. She's pissed off because you can tell by the thought balloons. Batman he ain't worried, though, because he's the goddamn Batman. Talking in a strange language because he brought along an insurance policy. And you see a hand grab her leg right there. And Superman is now speaking the same language. And again, no idea what they're saying, but you can kind of figure out, man, I should really, I should have looked through this and found what the translations were. Too late now. Anyways, she sees the symbol here, she, like, they're talking and she's crying. She sees the symbol and she's happy. Batman's like, what did you say? What are you talking about? And the big reveal, this is Kara Zor-El, my cousin from Krypton. So this is Supergirl. He draws this sexy ass, like, female form. She's supposed to be like 16 or something, 16, 17. So it's just kind of weird seeing a body kind of, such a young woman sexualized in this manner. But it goes into the dialogue. So Superman was talking about how he's alone. He's the only Kryptonian, but he's like, I am not alone. He has somebody. But Batman, who or what are we dealing with here? So, Batman's not just happy like Superman. He's very skeptical. He's very cautious. What's going on? So to be continued. All right. So that was issue number 8. Let's go into issue number 9. Look, up in the sky. I like the color differences on here. This was in Gotham, so the color on here is very moody, atmospheric. This one must be in, you see the Daily Planet there. So we're in Metropolis now. Very bright during the daytime. Very hopeful, because that's what Superman is all about. You got Batman ominous in the background. All right. So you got the two dialogue here from Superman and Batman. He's like, this is a love story, but Batman's, this is a detective story. And the translation that Batman was looking at, or the writing on the vessel that he found underwater, Superman's translating it. This vessel carries my daughter, Kara Zor-El, from the now dead planet Krypton. Treat her as you would your own child, for you will see the treasure she'll be for your world. So Batman's reading that out loud. He's like, do you think we translated the word treasure properly? And Superman is like, yes, it means treasure, not terror, not trouble. Just what are you not accepting here? So they're talking about, Superman here in his dialogue, like, this is a love story, not in the sense of a man and a woman, but a love of a family. But Batman's like, this is a detective story, like, because there's a crime, not in the sense that a crime has been committed or a dead body shown up, but it's a story he knows all too well. There's a mystery, and he wants to figure out what is going on with her. But Batman's saying, like, this is a little too convenient. They're talking about Lex Luthor and everything that happened with him. The navigational system on board this craft was bringing the asteroid to Earth, specifically to you. So the meteorite was coming from Luthor, but now, like, she appears at the same time the meteorite crashed. Luthor would have no way of knowing that, but Darkseid would. The point is, and Superman was fucking around with something. He presses a button, and this light turns on. It feels like sunlight. And that's how, like, her powers manifested. Like, they reproduced the yellow sun light to give her powers. And Batman's like, well, that's fucking convenient. So, yeah, they're just doing tests on the craft that she was coming in. Still arguing about if they can trust her or not. And she comes bursting through. And now, where are they at? They might be at the Fortress of Solitude. I think they must be. But she comes crashing through and she's like, it's after me, it hates me, and I didn't do anything, I swear. They talk about how Lois has bought her clothes, but she's been quarantined. And Batman's talking about how she learned English very, very well, fast, and picked up several other languages as well. And Batman's like, I hope Superman doesn't let her go outside. If she can crash through this, this wall in the fortress, what else can she do? So she comes running into Batman and Superman, and Batman's ready to fight whatever, but it's fucking Krypto. He looks like a fucking crazy dog. But he's coming in chasing her. Why? I guess he doesn't like her. So, Superman's trying to keep him, down, boy, down. And again, monologue, blah, blah, blah. Back and forth. So he tells the dog, "You're a bad dog. She's a friend. Leave her alone." And she's upset. Batman's like, "Okay, whatever. Go up to your quarters. We'll discuss this later." She's sad that she didn't do anything wrong. And Batman says, "It doesn't bother you that the dog doesn't like her?" He's like, "The dog hates everybody. And its job is to protect the fortress." So she's walking through. I mean, I guess that's how a girl would dress. What is that called? A bodysuit? I don't know. Again, so she's walking through the fortress as these two are inner monologuing. But Batman comes to talk to her. He's trying to sneak up on her, but she could hear his heartbeat. And she's like, "Why don't you trust me? Why won't you leave me alone? You'll never understand what it's like to be me." And he says, "Well, why don't you explain it to me?" And so she talks about how she lost her mother and father right before her eyes. And, well, if anyone can understand that, it's fucking Batman. So Batman is asking if this, being in this place, seeing all this Kryptonian technology, if it helps with her memory. And she's like, "Oh, I recognize my aunt and uncle." But she still just doesn't remember much of her past. Oh, pardon me. I had a burp, kind of hiccup thing going on there. My bad. So then she's telling the story again as far as she can remember it. She remembers it. She talks about how her father, who was named Zor-El, brother of Jor-El, he was a scientist too. He knew that Krypton was doomed. He built a ship just like Jor-El did, but it was too late because her parents were supposed to follow, but it was too late. Only her ship and Superman's ship survived, obviously, and then she doesn't remember anything else. The ship must have kept me alive in some kind of suspended hibernation. So she was older. She was a teenager when Krypton blew up, whereas Superman was a baby. So she was technically older than him. I think somewhere they talk about that she used to babysit little Superman, but she was stuck in suspended animation in hibernation or whatever, so she didn't age. And the Superman's craft landed, he got out, he grew up, so now he's older and she's still a teenager. And then she talks about the rest was told to her by these guys about the asteroid that carried me through the years across the galaxy until it broke apart and the rocket fell to Earth. And so he's still asking her question, "Do you remember your mother's name?" She doesn't know. She's like, I don't know. Why don't you trust me? And he's like, "Because you desperately want me to trust you is why I don't trust you." So Superman comes in. He's like, "Okay, that's enough. I want to take her out. I think she's ready." And Batman disagrees because that's what Batman does. All right. Damn. So where are we suddenly? So we skip to, it doesn't say, but that's Apokolips. The planet Apokolips, where Darkseid and all his minions are at. So you got Granny Goodness here. And she is training or testing the Furies. They're training warriors on Apokolips, and they're like, "Okay, now you need to kill or be killed." So this girl, whoever she is, like, "Okay, come on, Furies, taste my blade." So now you got these fucking Furies. I guess you got Stampa, Bernadette, Lashina, because she got a lasso, so she lashes out, and Mad Harriet. I mean, Apocalypse and Granny Goodness and a Dark Side, that was all done by Jack Kirby. I almost said Joe Kirby, Joe Kubert. Jack Kirby. Like, he designed all these, and it has some like crazy shit, you know, like Mad Harriet and Granny Goodness. It's weird, but it works. So you got the Furies, and they're like, all right, fuck up, like, take quick work of this little one. And then there's Guillotina. Which one is which? Is that Bernadette? I don't know. So there's 5 of them. So these 5 just fuck up this girl really fast. And like, no match for us. And you got this cool silhouetted image of Darkseid behind Granny Goodness. And he's like, you disappoint me. You believe that girl could replace Big Barda. That's another silly name, as captain of the honor guard. But then Darkseid's like, okay, whatever. Bring me the girl who fell to Earth. She is mine for the molding. Or it will be you, dear Granny, that the Furies will next be carrying off. So Darkseid wants Kara. All right, so we're in Metropolis, and it's nighttime. So you got Superman as good old Clark Kent, and you got her in these like fucking like really skimpy outfits. And again, 16 or 17-year-old. I mean, I like this outfit on women. You know, that's a sexy outfit, but it's weird to think of her as such a young girl. Whatever. So they're walking through. He just wants to introduce her to civilian and human life. And she calls him Cal, but he's like, my name is Clark. You can't forget that. We have secret identities. And then you got Batman here, tailing them, but Superman knows he's there. So he's going to get a hot dog. They're going to get a hot dog. She's like, they're not made of actual dogs. He says, no, they aren't. But what are they made of? You don't want to know. And if you know, they're like made from that Simpsons episode. It's like a pig, a horse, a cow, and a shoe that a hot dog is made out of. She's like, I want to know everything. And like, especially like why Batman doesn't like me. And he's like, well, he doesn't like anybody. She asks why he wears the eyeglasses. Especially since you can see better than anybody else. He talks about it, keeping a secret identity. That's why Batman has a mask and it's lined with lead, so she doesn't even know. He's like, I didn't even know your X-ray vision kicked in. That's cool. And she's like, still, nobody recognizes you just because you wear a pair of glasses. And it's just kind of a joke about why that works and doesn't work. She likes this city. She likes Metropolis. It's better than Gotham. They go up. They see the statue of Superman. I don't know if this is when he died and they made a statue, or if they just made a statue because, he's Superman. If, like, they can put statues of sports figures out, they'd fucking make one of Superman. So, again, the inner monologues of Batman and Superman, nothing really important. But then Superman hears something, like they're out in the open. And he kind of says, like, Bruce, I hope you take care of whatever's out there quickly. But then somebody comes and hits Superman over here. And he falls into the bushes, and this glowing rope, wraps around her foot. And she's like, oh, fuck no. And she tries to take off, but it's around her foot, and whoever's holding onto it is strong enough to pull her back in. So she's being dragged to somewhere. She's yelling, help. Superman comes out of nowhere. Well, not nowhere. He was in the fucking bushes, but he's just pissed. Comes flying out, but whoever is attacking them, like, is just, like, punching him there. And he says, Harbinger? I don't know who that is, but he seems like he does. And whoever it is, they know their secret identity, so that's not good. And it's like, whoever this Harbinger is, he calls her Lila. She's gone bad. We're all in trouble. So he's just getting his ass kicked over here. Cool shot of Batman. And you see, like, Superman's thinking, wherever you are, I hope you're getting the intel we need. And then Batman's like, I hate Metropolis. Trees like, not the most effective place to work. Not like all the darkness and gloom of Gotham that he's used to. So he's in a tree. Someone knows where he is. They shoot an arrow at him, but he, Batman ain't no slouch. You ain't gonna get the drop on him. He throws a batarang, and it takes out the arrow coming at him. Uh-oh. Guess who's back? Yeah, you, buddy. Everyone want to take a look? Yeah. Hey, you little shit. All right. Back to the comic. And then he throws a second one, and it hits her hand here, holding the bow. And he says, "I'll have to thank Ollie for that move when I see him next time." So, whoever this is, it looks like there's multiple of her. Harbinger, I guess. I'm not really too terribly aware of her. Rusty, buddy, you laid on me, slept on me all night last night. I think you got enough cuddles for a minute. So they're trying to surround and overpower Superman, but that ain't fucking gonna work. He zooms in a circle, and they all go flying off. And he's like, "This isn't gonna happen. No one's gonna take this girl from me." So he goes to whoever this is, Artemis, and if you're starting to recognize some of these names, you'll kind of figure out where they're from. Batman swooping down, that's a fucking badass shot of him, right? Michael Turner took the opportunity. So, Batman, Artemis, they're fighting, but he's like one of the fiercest Amazon warriors. She won't fall easily. So he kicks at her, she punches at him. She takes him down, but he has, a little trick up his sleeve and shoots her with a little needle. So we're going back to Kara, and she's being dragged again by the laser, the glowing rope. And this is cool. And she shoots at him, and it's being deflected. Dun, 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 dun. It's fucking Wonder Woman, and this is just a cool introduction of her, bringing her down, blocking the heat vision, and she's like, "This is for your own good." Superman, Batman come jumping down you. Of course, it's fucking her. Do you think these others would be here without Wonder Woman? And she says, "I'm taking this girl, and you will not stop me." And what I like, what's funny is Jeff Loeb, I've read, or he has said in interviews or whatever, that he will tailor some of his stories to the strength of the artist. So when he knew he was going to have Michael Turner drawing his next storyline, he's going to bring in Supergirl, and he's definitely going to bring in Wonder Woman. Because Michael Turner draws a nice female form. Again, that's very weird and exaggerated, elongated, but I like that shot of Wonder Woman. She's very sexy. I like her. All right, so that's the second issue. So let's go into issue 10. So we had Gotham, we had Metropolis, now we have Themyscira. So Wonder Woman has entered the chat, so to speak. All these Amazons down here, and you can see that's Kara there training with them. So a time jump has happened. Kara's in some kind of armor. You can tell there's Batman. They're just kind of recapping what has happened in their monologues. Batman, you got Superman, you got sexy ass Wonder Woman. I like that face. And she says she's ready up here, and she says go. So you got Artemis down here, and Michael Turner took the opportunity. And so they're fighting. They're training her. I think they're going to explain that the Amazons know that she's who she is, what she is, how powerful she can be, and how dangerous she can be if not properly trained. So I think Batman's all for it. He's like, yeah, this is actually probably a great idea. And Superman doesn't like it. He wants, it's a sister to her, a kid sister almost. He doesn't like her having to go through this, but she's all for it also. So they're training, and you got these other Amazons. That's Harbinger, Lila, right? And they're like, yeah, do it, go, Kara. Little arena, just more of the fighting. Again, really good art, establishing where they're at. So you don't have to do it every single time in every panel. Fighting with swords, cling, clang, swipe, trip, and like now she's gonna get it. Looks like she's gonna stab her. Would that hurt her? Probably not. But Superman zooms in. That's some cool use of the colors there. I wonder how they did that. Did like Michael Turner draw just like Rusty, fuck off, like just the little like outline of him, maybe with where the S would be, and then the colorist put all these lines to show the speed of Superman zooming in. So Wonder Woman's face kind of looks funny. She's like, "Hoi, hoi." But Superman's like, don't touch her, and got her up by the neck. Still, same Jeff Loeb, Michael Turner, Peter Steigerwald on colors. And taking the opportunity. So he stops Artemis. He doesn't want her to hurt her, but Kara's like, stop it. What the fuck are you doing? Don't interfere. And the sword would have shattered on impact. That wasn't going to hurt her. So Wonder Woman puts her lasso around his neck, which I'm sure she has done to him other times, if you know what I mean. So they're arguing about what Superman wants Kara to do and what Wonder Woman thinks should happen. So they're arguing, and he's like, she's coming home with me. And she's like, where? Back to the fortress where she only has a dog to hang out with? Or is she going to move into your apartment? Like, I like how Michael Turner draws Wonder Woman, draws her like strong and muscular but sexy. I remember, I think it was in Wizard, Michael Turner and Joe Mad, like they were like the top two guys, it seems like, at the time, or up and coming artists, and they were both tasked to draw Wonder Woman and see what fans voted on who they like more. And Joe Mad won because his was more muscular and looked more Amazonian than Michael Turner. The way he drew her was very slender. So I feel ever since that, he made a point to draw Wonder Woman a little bit more, with some meat and muscle on her. So, they're still arguing. Wonder Woman's like, there's nowhere you can go, like, take her. This is the best place for her. And he's like, you're training her for battle, but she can take out the entire island if she want. And they're like, yeah, that's the whole point. She has the power, but she doesn't know how to use it. And then Kara says, like, can I say something? You guys are trying to figure out my future, but I should have a say in it. And Superman's like, fine. That's right. You're right. He's just like very protective because he has no other family. And he's like, I know what you're going through. I know how to help you. Who else is better suited to look after you and decide what's best? She's like, I don't know. How about me? I like that face shot. Michael Turner is always drawn like very heavy, like eyelashes in women's eyes, even on the underneath. Like they have a lot of eyeshadow. And it's just a technique he does to kind of make them look a little bit more sexy. And it works for him. I try to do that, and it just doesn't work for my art. But it works for him. So Wonder Woman's like, okay, Kara, why don't you go get dinner, go off with your friends. He took the opportunity. Could have done a little bit better, kind of a flat ass on Wonder Woman. And she's like, you're just getting rid of me so the adults can talk. Yeah, something like that. And Batman, he's just letting them argue. He don't give a fuck. Well, he does, but... So, they fly off, and they're still arguing. And Batman chimes in. He's like, I've watched you ever since that girl came to our lives. You've let your guard down, exposed your secret identity, like, haven't used common sense. how long was it before you let Superboy this far into your life? But he says Superboy wasn't from Krypton, and how do you know she is? So they're just arguing. They don't know who she is, or where she came from, but she can still hear them talking. She still has a super hearing. So they're still just talking about what's best for her. And Wonder Woman says something here. She's like, let's assume she is from Krypton. A girl with so much power, raw, untested, is ripe for someone to exploit. Do you think that universe can keep that a secret? And it's like, what is it you're not telling me? So it goes to Kara and Lila, Harbinger. And they're talking, and they're friends, and they want to make out, but they don't because they just barely knew each other. But Harbinger, I guess she can see the future. And as you can see, she sees Superman carrying a young blonde woman's, like, lifeless body. So that doesn't bode well for Supergirl, right? Oh my God, what did we miss? So, they're talking, and he's quoting, "Her presence will bring death and destruction." For who, Diana? And she says, "Harbinger's visions of the future, while accurate, are not yet specific." So Wonder Woman knew something was going to happen, something bad was going to happen, and Kara was in the middle of it all. So she has her armies ready. And then they see something like a portal open. It's a fucking boom tube. You can see it boom. Batman's like, call him now, Diana, if you got an army and somebody like comes through, and it's fucking Doomsday. The abomination that killed me. Luthor had given him to Darkseid. Now, via boom tube, Darkseid has brought him back to Apokolips. Even dead, Luthor's legacy continues to haunt me. So this is a pretty badass version of Doomsday. Better than what was in Batman Superman. So Doomsday's here, and they're like, that fucking sucks. You know, because Doomsday fucked up everybody in the Justice League and DC universe. It had to be Superman to stop him. And, you know, if they replicated the monster, but Batman's like, wait a minute, the tube isn't closing, and more of them drop in. So one fucking Doomsday is fucking horrible, but multiple of them, that's like, just seems impossible. So Wonder Woman, she's not backing down. The Amazons, they're not backing down. They're fucking soldiers. They're warriors. They're badasses. And they're like, draw a line in the sand, hold them here, 2 arms. They all come rushing forward, and then they throw Batman some weapons. And cool double-page spread of this, just, I don't know, however many, I wouldn't say an army, but an army of Darkseids coming towards the army of Amazons. And down here, Batman saying, quoting, "Her presence will bring death and destruction," like they said on this other page. And he says, "When this day is done, Clark, how will you answer for that?" So shit about to go down. So I'm not going to go into all this. You know, there's a lot of words in the monologue of Superman and whatever. So Batman, he's taking out a Darkseid there. These must not be as, like, powerful as Darkseid, because there's no way these guys would be able to survive. These must be lesser versions. And they're talking about how there's no blood when they stab them. So Batman takes one out. Wonder Woman takes one out. One bitch slaps Superman, and he goes flying off. And Wonder Woman's like, "I'm going to go get him." Batman's like, "No, you're needed here on the battlefield." And he says, "Something is wrong. Doomsday had evolved into a sentient being, thinking and talking. But these things," he throws some batarangs, and they're like, batarangs? And he says these things aren't alive. And the batarangs he throws, like, are beeping, and they explode. A little smirk from Batman. It's like, yeah, I know what I'm fucking doing. Don't worry about me. And he says, "The creature's alien DNA must have proven too difficult to replicate. Darkseid has a scientist. Blah, blah, blah. If they use Doomsday DNA as a template, Why would Darkseid stage this attack knowing his army was flawed? So yeah, like these aren't exact Doomsdays. They're just kind of a template. So they can be destroyed and killed a little bit more easily. So more fighting, more fighting, more fighting. Artemis and the Amazons taking out one. Batman taking out one. Wonder Woman fucking up one. And then this thing looks like it's about ready to take out Artemis, and she's worried, but Superman comes here and just fucking explodes its head with a Superman punch. And then they're about to like, hey, I'm sorry for what I did before. I'm like, this isn't we don't have time for this, Superman. Wonder Woman says these things need to be stopped. And Superman tells them, pull your armies back, and this ends now. And his super hearing confirms there's no heartbeat, so they're not alive. So his moral, like, he doesn't have to have like any morals about it. Ooh, this is cool. Cool double page shot of Superman. His eyes glowing red. You can see the color just enveloping him, and he just lets loose with his heat vision, just vaporizing all these Doomsday monsters. And there's smoking, there's dead bodies. You see the silhouettes of the Amazons. He comes floating down, and he's like, oh my God, that sucked for me. I don't think I could do that again. Hold me, Diana. Touch me. But he's like, wait a minute, where's Batman? Because Batman, he knew something was wrong. It's like, why would they send this fucking horrible army that's, after them? It was a distraction, basically. So, Superman and Wonder Woman go flying off, and they go to the shores here. And Batman's here with somebody. You see somebody's dead body in here. It's like, I couldn't be sure. I thought it was an echo, but when the boom tube opened in front of us, there was a second tube that opened here simultaneously. How did Superman not pick up on that, but Batman did? That just shows how cool Batman can be. From the look of things, there are 4, maybe 6 of them. She didn't go without a fight. Darkseid's raiders were ruthlessly efficient. Their orders must have been to get in, get out, while his Doomsdays kept us occupied. And then Superman feels really bad. Looks like Kara is dead. But it's not Kara, it's Lila. It's Harbinger. I mean, that's the shot from earlier. Right there. Holding a young blonde woman in his cape, but Harbinger, Lila, she was blonde, so she was the one who died. And then they see, I guess her powers are still kind of going, the orb showing the future, whatever. And they see Kara there with Darkseid before it closes. Superman's pissed. I'm going to Apokolips, and I'm taking Kara back. To be continued. So we're going to stop it here, because we're 53 minutes in and counting, and we're only halfway through the video. So, cool stuff going on so far. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Darkseid is involved. Had some shit with Doomsday. So, let's end this here. Make sure you hit that like button if you didn't, because Batman would have, because he's smart enough to. And let's look at the next video where we will continue the story.